Hi everyone! Welcome to another inspiring episode of Let's Talk World. Whether you are here for the laughs, the drama, or the jaw-breaking moments, I've got it all covered. My team has scoured the whole nation to bring you the most compelling story, the jack of all trades individuals, and the most productive creators in the filmmaking industry. But that's not all. We will be joined by a very special guest who is making wave in her field. From Hollywood star to everyday hero, this show is all about celebrating the extraordinary in all of us. So sit back and relax and get ready for the unforgettable ride. I'll see you after the break.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
And welcome to the next exciting episode of
Arena War.
Fresh batch of institutionalized gladiators fighting for their freedom.
Ready, here we go.
You guys heard Pureza?
Yes, smell that.
Get back!
Those on the line, the parole board has offered you a ticket out. Win Arena Wars, win your freedom. 7 arenas with 7 of the most vicious killers the world has seen in the last decade. You make it out alive, you get to go home.
Luke Bender.
You're an innocent man.
Innocent man can mean big ratings.
I'll be watching.
I think it's time to audition Mr. Bender.
What was your last physical?
Cell block shower this morning. Oh yeah.
You ready for this?
Impressive showing out there tonight. You're the new fan favorite.
Are you with me? Cutie pie back for the kill.
If you want to live through this, we have to work together. I'm watching you.
Smile for the camera, thug life.
Wow!
It's showtime!
We have to finish this. Come on!
Doesn't sound much like rehabilitation, does it?
Welcome back everyone. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Up next, we have an incredibly talented guest who has made waves in both the literary and film worlds. As a writer and filmmaker, her work has captivated audience and critics alike. Let's welcome Cindy Mich, who will be sharing insights into her creative process, upcoming projects, and much more. Thank you for coming here, Cindy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Maria. I was very excited to come here, very last minute put together, but I love that you've invited me to the show.
Yeah, it's really funny because Cindy is from Wisconsin, but we know a lot of people together. We have common friends or common relatives, sisters, cousins.
Yes.
Well, not cousins, but it's just like Filipino, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, give us some insights about you.
Okay, so I have been a journalist for the last 20 or so years. I've contributed to various magazines, newspapers, blogs, etc. And then about 10 years ago or so, I started my own film festival at the behest of one of my dear friends. And ever since then, it's just been a spiraling of doing my own film, doing film review. I eventually started doing a radio show for 10 years, and now I actually started public access TV about a month and a half ago.
So, yes, I've seen all those things in your bio and my research about you and probably previous kind of conversation on social media.
Yes.
Just to give you some kind of feedback or background how I met this woman, I just found her on social media. And, you know, it's funny because I started this company as social media shows. Now it's SMS. TV broadcasting live in real time. We're the only one. But anyways, you as a future feature writer of different media,
Yes.
how does influence with your screenwriting and your festivals and filmmaking?
No, do you mean in terms of my sort of influence or the difference in styles as far as
Yes,
writing?
the different
Okay.
styles. Yes.
So for me personally, one of the things that I like doing more than anything is copywriting. I won't lie to you. I do film writing, but it's kind of in the back seat because now I've become more of a film judge. Like I get asked by various festivals to judge throughout the year, film reviews, etc. So for me, it's more of a copywriting / screenwriting than film writing down below. I won't lie to you. Film is something that I love, but I don't write it nearly as well as within the other mediums.
So how do you balance your roles being, I see you have a lot, you have radio show.
Yes.
You have magazine, you have your own media
Yes.
outlet. How do you balance, it's really funny because I saw one of your posts, you said somebody told you as a boss lady.
Yes.
And I also told you that I run everything.
Yes.
You see, that's, when you are jack of all trades,
Yes.
you are a boss lady, by the way.
That's what they tell me, yes.
So, I know how to balance my time and balance everything.
Sure.
How do you balance it?
I think what it comes down to is learning what your priorities are. Make no mistake that my family is always primary. So if there's anything that's on the top of the list, it's my family. It's my children, of course. So their needs come before everything, including a show, a magazine, festival, whatever. So typically what happens during a normal work week, it's a lot of putting out fires. Publicists come your way, or writers come your way, or people come into town. Hey, I just need a quick thing, or I need this. So it's really learning how to put things in perspective, who needs what when. Sometimes you have to say no, which I never like doing. And sometimes you just have to stop putting yourself under so much pressure. Maybe you have to push a deadline back. Maybe you can't interview 10 filmmakers, but do 5. So you have to know your limits, but you also have to know your priorities. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what a boss lady does.
Yes.
They know how to set their priorities and they know how to step back. When I am bombarded with so much work in my company, I tell everybody we don't film for 3 months.
Ah, okay.
We don't go live for 3 months, and I go out of town.
Okay.
So you set your priorities. That's very, very important. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
I try.
Yeah. It's really funny because when you have a one-on-one interview, you set up multiple questionnaires, and then when they're talking, you just go all over the place because I love creators like us.
Yes.
Because we have so many insights of what we do. We know what we want. We know how to do it. Mm-hmm. And when you are face to face with somebody like you, it's like, oh my God, that's me, right?
Yeah, looking in the mirror, basically, kind of a parallel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, my other questions is I'm gonna throw away my questionnaires.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna get all the questions out of our conversation.
Okay.
How long? When did you start doing this? When did you find out that you are this boss lady?
Well, it took a very long time actually because I decided to have children, and because children are primary, you can't always do your artistic side of things. So I had a regular job, many regular jobs for a very long time. And then when I hit about 40 years old, I found kind of what I call my inner person, my inner gypsy, so to speak, my inner creative. And I started realizing that having a day job is great, but it doesn't give you the tickle on the tummy. And so I do that. There you go. You need to do what drives you. You need to do what you love. And so I literally just started writing and submitting to all sorts of places. I kept getting published. And then after a while, I started getting noticed due to radio. And then radio eventually led to film. And then that eventually led to building up the festival and then finding public access TV. So it was kind of a progression of things. But make no mistake, when you have kids at home and you're a single mom, you have to balance what your needs are versus what their needs are. And I'm very happy with the end result. Now I just wish that they were wanting to be in the creative fields, which they are not.
How young are your kids?
So, I have a range of them. My youngest is going to be 18 years old in August, and he is going into construction. I have a 19-year-old that is going to do aerospace engineering. He's going to college for that. My daughter is 29 years old, and she works for an insurance company, and she's engaged to be married. So she'll be getting married in 2026. And then, of course, we have my very last one, which is my son, and he is 32 years old. And we are going to say, because I always know, he's got like 3 jobs. Like he does, welding is his mainstay, but he also does selling for different companies, etc. So he's a jack of all trades, kind of like mom.
Yes, learning about the age of your kids.
Yes.
Yes, they are in different world from us.
Yes.
My kids, when I started social media shows, and they told me that I'm crazy, and they literally like wanna kick me out from my house for doing that.
Sure.
Yeah, but now they're like, oh God, she's doing something. But anyways, yes, their mind.
Yep.
Yeah, they are literally different. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to my question about the radio show.
Yeah.
What motivates you to start radio hosts and?
Okay, so funny story. I actually live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and so the running joke is I always feel like I sound like a boy. So I've always said I don't have a voice for radio because I just don't sound feminine. And I just kept saying, no, I've never done this. Somebody who's a good friend of mine suggested to me that they had this show that they wanted me to try doing, where I would interview the cast of the FX show Sons of Anarchy. So I started doing that for a while. And then before you know it, my dear mentor, the deceased John A. Gallagher, who's a film director, started introducing me to tons and tons of people. And before you know it, I was just having radio shows booked left, right, and sideways. And over the course of, 10 or 11 years, I think we're at 205,000 people spread across 20 states for the following. My very first show was Peggy Tanos of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I can remember almost throwing up. I was so sick and scared to death, and I didn't want to do this. And it was actually a local musician who came to me, and he's like, listen, what's the worst thing that happens if you try this and you fail? You just don't do it anymore. You just don't like it, whatever. And thank God I listened to him, because here we are now, almost 11 years later.
Wow. Do you have a voice for singing?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I'm meticulous for saying don't listen to me in the shower, don't listen to me in the car. I think I've drunk karaoke once, in which case I was like, maybe I have a voice. But no singing talent. I can't paint, I can't draw, but they tell me that I write and I interview fabulously.
You actually meant where you act. So
Yes.
So I believe that's what it is.
Sure.
Yes. Well, anyways, you come to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Are you here for pleasure or business?
Well, I wish I could say that it was pleasure completely, but it is not. First of all, I'm very blessed to be in the studio doing this, which I wasn't expecting.
I know, right?
It's so exciting. I was like, oh, you're going to be on camera today. And I'm like, you never know what to expect. So here we are. So I'm like, that was number one. I did set up some interviews. So normally wherever I travel, I usually will set up interviews. Today, I'm super excited because I'm interviewing a 95-year-old man who is a Holocaust survivor. And so I came here because he lives here in Vegas. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to talk to someone of this magnitude.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm meeting with him. I'm meeting with a female who started an all-female radio broadcasting company here in Las Vegas. I'm also meeting with some filmmakers because I usually like to talk shop while I'm here. And if I can help a young or blossoming filmmaker, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. And that's the main mission of social media shows, is to connecting others.
Yes.
If you look on our logo right there, you know that tools.
Yes.
Yeah, that is connecting everyone.
Ah, okay.
I created that on the very first day I had the vision.
Oh my, how lovely is that?
Yes. Thank you. But anyways, you are not just a filmmaker or a writer.
Mm-hmm.
You are also a coach.
Well, you could say that. I mean, I do teaching, and I've been teaching.
That's a coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody uses like different words. Like somebody's like, "Oh, you're a mentor." Somebody else is like, "Oh, you're a life coach." I'm like, "No, I'm not a life coach."
No, that's
because I don't know. That
yeah.
doesn't qualify.
You are a coach for these upcoming screenwriters or writers.
Yes, I absolutely. So I do teach creative writing. I've taught writers how to get published, because in 2024 the demographic has changed so very much. I also teach filmmakers the business end. Like, I go to film school, but they have no clue of how they need media kits, all this other stuff.
Yes.
Someone has to mentor them and teach them, and at an affordable price, because independent filmmakers have zero. So it's nice that I get an opportunity to teach them the business end. Some people sometimes hire me to do film PR. That's not as often, but I do it sometimes. So one of the most fulfilling things about teaching is, I just had a student say to me the other day, he said, "You've gotten me excited about getting behind the camera and doing what I love." To me, that's the payoff.
Yes, it is a payoff. You know, when you actually teaching somebody and they see themselves on something,
Sure.
that is success.
Yes.
You're painting. You see, you're painting something for them, because these young kids, or whatever you call it, or adults,
Yes.
young adults, they don't know what they want. And when you, as a mentor or a coach or a teacher, is trying to paint and they're like, oh my God, that's me.
Yes.
That is a success.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
Believe that? Yeah. By the way, I love your eyelid right there.
So, can I just say something about that? There was somebody not so long ago that said, well, had asked me, what is the key to success in this industry, whether it's writing or doing the things that I do? First of all, you have to set yourself apart from someone else. I could truly walk somebody through sitting down and interviewing someone, a crash course if I really needed to. But if you really want to be different, you have to not only act different, dress differently, but look differently. So if you guys can see, there's glitter makeup, which I wear almost all the time, which is on my eyes. There are 52 bangles here, and I'm always wearing that. I like the sparkly sort of thing. This is the Sin City effect, of course, because we're in Sin City right now. But I think it's important to look different. I think it's important to bring something to the table that people are engaged or entertained or inspired by.
I love that. Yes, that's very true. Filipinos love bling bling.
Aha, yes.
And do you see me with bling bling? I want to be different Filipino.
Good for you.
Yeah, I want to actually stand out. Like, oh my God, she doesn't do that. I said, yeah, you don't need those to look pretty and beautiful.
There you go.
My next question to you is, do you have any memorable, doing all what you're doing, what is the most memorable moments in this,
in the career?
Yes.
Okay, I would say I'm very blessed on more than one occasion for a friend to say to me that the words that I actually wrote and put down on paper saved their life. That's a big one for me. Knowing that I'm using my words for good is a huge thing. Through my film festival in 2018, I got lucky and I found the love of my life. And for too sadly of a short time, I had him. He's a professional actor. And he passed in 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, one of the best things of that, even though he is not here, is that he is here, so to speak, with us. And so I think of all the things that I've accomplished, I managed to find true love. I managed to find the better part of myself, which I think is important. And most importantly, anything that I do is always motivated by passion and a true purpose to help other people. And for me, that's super important. And if you knew me, you would know that comes above a profit. It comes above any other obligation. I have a responsibility to use the gift for as good as I can.
That's amazing.
Well,
yeah. Oh my God. But you're single now.
I have been single for 2.5 years now. And, it's kind of, it's tricky when you work in this business. Like, for instance, when you're on camera or you're covering a red carpet or you're doing some of the things you do, not everyone is meant for that. Like, I feel like it's hard to find someone who's comfortable with a person who is, hey, do you want to go to a red carpet in 2 weeks and be on a red carpet? Or, hey, I have to travel to New York for 3, or 4 days. Do you want to come with? Not everyone's built like that. So realistically speaking, if I find someone new, it has to be someone who is creative and spontaneous and someone who is intelligent like myself and who actually just follows my work. I mean, without me having to tell them, just being a kind of a silent supporter, so to speak.
Yes.
So, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if you know that I do a lot of red carpets in town and in LA.
Yes, I saw.
Oh, yes. So all my red carpet host. I'm also a red carpet host, but when you're a producer, it's better for you to be behind the camera and have someone in there. But yeah, we do a lot of red carpets. So yeah, and all of them are spontaneous. Like I don't tell them. I just tell them that we are going to West Hollywood in 2 weeks. Be ready. Here's the film that we are doing, and then they do their own. They don't. I let them fly free.
Ah, nice.
Yes,
very
because
nice.
However they want their interview, they have different type of how to interview people. So
Okay.
if you need someone to go to New York, yes, we are ready. Well, I met you at social media.
Yeah.
What trends do you think it's emerging in the social media and publishing industry?
Well, as far as negatives go, I think part of the problem we have is lately everything is fueled by social media. And that's not just professionally, it's also personally. I think that social media can be a great catalyst to get us to connect with one another, support one another, to support our businesses, obviously, to build a following. All of those things are constructive. But make no mistake, over the last maybe, even since the pandemic, I want to say, people are very computer. The better word to use is they've got a lot of courage when it comes to being behind a keyboard, so they feel they can say what they want, act as they please, they can spread lies, they can spread hate, and it's very disheartening. I think I think we all know we have to use social media for something, but my belief is we should all find a way to either use it sporadically, so you're not tempted to use it for negative purpose, or maybe just stop relying so much on, I can't do an interview if the guy doesn't have 1 million followers. Not everyone needs to have a huge following to be interesting or to be worth your time, you know? So I think people just need to keep that in mind, that you don't live and die by social media.
Yep. And I want to add to that no matter what you actually get from social media, positive or negative, keep in mind if you are a public social media personality, public or social media personality, doesn't matter, because everybody now use social media for public entity, is use those as your stepping stone, or to fly more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't engage with them. Does that make sense?
It does, and I have a problem with that. Like, I often have to stop myself or bite my tongue or just get off of social media, because I'm like, I know I'm going to engage. And when you become somebody who people follow, and I'm very lucky that people actually listen to what I have to say, you don't want to necessarily alienate an entire group of people because of a moment or like an emotional fueled sort of second. So I've learned to start just stepping back and maybe having less time on social media, not taking things as seriously, and just realizing that people are frustrated. I think most of us are really worried about what's going on in the world right now.
Well, I'm gonna share with you my advice to everybody who is part of my company.
Okay.
I told them that every time you see a comment, say thank you.
Yes.
And don't engage. Just say thank you. Either thank you for your comment, thank you for your advice, and thank you for pointing that out. Everything is, you just keep on saying thank you. Don't engage.
Right.
Don't engage while you start going after each other. Say thank you.
Yes.
And I just had recently one person, and I've been doing this for the almost 6 years that I've been doing social media shows, and I told this guy the other day, and because he said, you don't have any followers. No, you don't have views. You have a lot of followers, but you don't have views. And I said, where are you watching? Because we're not just on Instagram. When we do the live broadcast, it broadcasts on over 10 different platforms.
Okay.
So he is actually on Facebook, which is, I have a lot of views in there, but I think it's still small. And then he actually came back and said, well, it's irrelevant. That's what he said. And I said, well, thank you so much for your comment, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to let you know that I don't need million views. I just want you that you're watching.
Nice.
And how can you respond to that? That's why he didn't respond, and he probably caught himself. A lot of people actually caught themselves and messaged me, DM me privately, and said, "I am so sorry."
So you can turn a positive, and I think there's something to be said about taking something that's very negative and trying to look at the other person's view and being patient with them, and you can turn it around into something positive.
Yes, that's what our vision and mission in social media shows. We brought up, or we actually created social media shows to change the social media negativity. Yes. But anyways, it's not about social media. You are here for a reason. But anyways, we have so much more to talk about.
Okay.
So stay put.
Okay.
And we will be right back to know more about Cindy Mich.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
I was not ashamed of the hatred that I had to bear. I shared it with them. They just didn't know. From their point of view, I was just some savage crusader, devil sent by a country of devils to kill. And that's what I did.
So you just
Got Films is a full-service production company that provides motion picture quality content and production services for use in the film and TV industry. Looking for a seasoned crew, high-quality equipment, or other production services for your film, TV, commercial, corporate convention, sports, news, or interview project? Your search stops here. Some of our projects include NASCAR, American Restoration, Pawn Stars, Counting Cars, Top Chef, BattleBots, Forge and Fire, and Street Outlaws. We have also produced over 60 feature films and documentaries. We're ready for all your needs. Whatever your project, whatever your budget, big or small, Got Films got you. GotFilms.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Up next, we have an incredibly talented guest who has made waves in both the literary and film worlds. As a writer and filmmaker, her work has captivated audience and critics alike. Let's welcome back Cindy Mich.
Thank you.
How are you doing on the hot seat?
Oh, I think we're doing okay. I mean, I'm not too hot yet. I mean, I feel like I'm being able to navigate the waters properly. It's always nervous. It's a time for, oh gosh, what am I going to get asked to send?
You do a lot of interviews, so
I do.
Because when myself, and because I'm doing a lot of interview when I'm in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sweating, right?
Right. I feel like I don't think people understand this in our culture, that just because I do hundreds and hundreds of interviews doesn't mean that it makes it more comfortable over here. In fact, I think this is harder than being over there. I'm trained how to do that. And so when somebody turns the light back on me, first of all, I try to remain very humble, because in our business, you don't run across that all the time. People can get their egos and let that get the better of them. Some people can be difficult and they don't appreciate what they have. And I appreciate every single second of what I've gotten for the last 10, 12 years. So staying humble is important. But talking about myself, I mean, you know, there's many more interesting people to talk about in this world. So it's a bit challenging.
Well, let's get to the main reason why I found you.
Okay.
You are... there is a film festival coming up.
Yes. So we are at the 2-month mark. I have a festival that's called Art is Alive Film Festival. It's in New York City and also a hybrid. So we do it both online, of course, and live in person. This is my 7th year, as a matter of fact. I am so...
Congratulations.
I'm so excited because not only am I growing, but this is the first year where I believe I have 7 youth filmmakers that have been accepted. I have 3 world premieres. I have 3 New York City premieres. I have a total of 56 films right now, and I have 4 of which that are special screenings. And what's nice is that through my festival, I offer things like film reviews and interviews, not just with me. I do all the Q&A panels, but with other accredited media as well. So they're walking away with reviews, interviews, and I distributed 5 films last year.
Wow. So I am connected to a lot of filmmakers in Vegas, and one of the biggest filmmaker, Mahal Brothers.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
I've heard the name, but I haven't worked with that.
Yes. They have world movie premiere coming up on January 25, right, by the way. So and you will see us there doing the red carpet. But so I have a lot of people, a lot of filmmakers.
Okay.
And one of the filmmakers that I deal with here in Las Vegas asked, what's the benefit when it comes to submitting their film in a film festival?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're already making it. They're already on Tubi, on Amazon Prime and other distribution. What is the benefit of submitting their their film into a film festival?
So I have to say that I get very different opinions from certain filmmakers as well as distributors. So when I talk to a distributor, they'll say to me, okay, first of all, putting your movie on Amazon is fine, but Amazon has really changed the way that they deal with independent filmmakers, and I really feel like they're not getting the revenue that they need, and they don't get seen in the proper fashion there. Tubi, of course, I believe that they're starting to streamline things a little bit, so I know that it's harder for them to get on there. Short films are a challenge, period. Okay, no matter what. It's just really hard to find a home for them. And the other thing is that distributors are looking for things that filmmakers, honestly, I don't think they know that they need, like a following. You need a good film festival track where you've been accepted, you've won laurels and awards, you have film reviews, you have a media kit. Most of them don't have a media kit. And they do look at the following. You know, they want to know that their investment in you means that you've got thousands and thousands of people watching it. Otherwise, why invest in you?
Yeah.
Now, we all want the Netflix payday, or we all want to get off to Hulu and all those things. But let's face it, there's a game to be played to get in there. And most people can't afford to do that. Most people can't hire a film aggregate. So I think we serve a purpose. Well, I mean, I can speak for myself. And a lot of the film festivals I know, especially in New York City, we work for the filmmaker. We want to make sure that their interviews are good. Why? Because their name's getting out there. And what does that mean? A distributor will pick them up. They get traction. They get picked up and accepted. They get awards. They show up and they get reviews. And then people can read about how well a film is doing. So I think that that's a benefit. In my festival, the last 2 years, filmmakers collaborated and made new films off of my festival. So now you have new work coming from them. So you never know where your next investor is from. You could walk into a festival tomorrow and you have a new film and you have money now. So I think that most people need to stop downplaying the benefits of festivals, because there are a lot of us out there that really are working for them and want them to be seen. I think it's important. I think festivals will always have a place, regardless of how so-called easy it is to distribute. Because anyone could go on YouTube, but if you're not getting a million views, you're not making money. It's that simple.
Exactly. Being you are the organizer, or coordinator of these film festivals for 7 years, you said, right? What do you help these filmmakers distribute their content?
Yes, so what happens is every year I vet all the various distributors that are still in existence. Obviously, Lionsgate's not talking to me right now. I have a connection at Netflix, of course, but that's very selective because they only take so much. So I have vetted and put together a full functional list of people that will take shorts and people that will take features. And then what I do is I work with them and I offer, let's see, last year I did a workshop for $20. I'm like, I'm going to help you get everything you need to get distributed through this person. So for $20, they can find a distribution. Now, it's not perfect. They're going to have to do the marketing. They're going to have to learn how to push that product. But it's a gateway and it's a door that they didn't have before. I never leave them alone. I always follow up with them afterwards. And in addition, I still have youth filmmakers that still submit, still talk to me. I have people call me to ask for advice. That's truly humbling for me, that they actually want to stay in touch and that I feel like I'm making a difference.
So what do you think? I've seen a lot of negativity about film festivals.
Yeah.
What do you say about them saying that film festivals are scam?
So that's one of those times where, by the way, I've bitten my tongue and gotten off of social media because I found myself
No, this is your platform.
a few times I have engaged with people where they were not letting down. So I'll say this, and I don't know if you want to edit this or not, but I know this to be true.
I'm not going to edit
anything.
Okay.
So if you look at the numbers of how many submissions that Sundance gets a year, all of us know that there's likely more than, less than 1% of those films are accepted by Sundance that are independent in nature. What that means basically in the real world, if you submitted thousands of submissions and you knew you weren't going to accept them, I believe they call that theft. But no one will say that about Sundance, or no one will say that about a top tier festival. So when you talk about a scam, let's say for instance, my entry to get in is $20. Even at a late submission, it's $30. And for that, you get reviews, interviews, you get a award-winning journalist to do a Q&A panel, you get collaboration and mixers, and on top of which some of you get distributed, and all of that is $20. And $20 for the award show. So for $40, that's less than hiring a publicist, that's less than getting any kind of paid media.
That is a deal.
Right. So when people come to me and try to say that, I'm like, ask me how many months out of a year it takes me to produce a festival of this kind. Easily 6 months out of a year. And do I make money out of it? Do I make a profit? It's paying my bills, sure, but a very limited part of that. So what drives me? Passion.
Yes.
And purpose, and knowing that these filmmakers need me. When my partner passed away, I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. I didn't want to do it because I met him through that event. And it's too close to me. But a bunch of them came to me and they said, we need you. You're giving us something that others don't. So for anyone out there that thinks that we're a scam, maybe you should do your research and take a look and talk to people that attend them and find out just how unscam-like we are.
Well, I think when you are, maybe there are scam film festival in there, so you need to still research. You need to
Absolutely.
find the right ones, like hers. What's the name of your film festival?
It's Art is Alive Film Festival, and also talk to people who go to festivals all year. I find that they're more than willing to say, hey, I was at this festival and I noticed this, so they did this.
Yes.
And they'll tell you flat out. They'll even give you a list of places where you should go or where you shouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And even this year, I'm offering up a new bonus, which is any individual who buys either a day pass or an all-access pass, they get access to all my media lists. Those are film podcasts. Those are film reviewers. Those are writing podcasts, director and actor podcasts,
awesome.
and magazines. All that for $70.
Yes.
I'm like, so the scam word is really not applying
No,
to me or lots of us.
$70 is not a scam.
Thank you.
It's not even paying the time that coordinators and organizers, that is not money for them.
Absolutely, and they don't realize there's volunteers at play. There's media that volunteer their time.
Yes.
There's people that literally are soliciting, like myself. You have to solicit filmmakers for months and months and months.
Yeah,
and you can't just stop.
Yes,
you know.
You yes, a lot of people don't understand. They it's just a me. They
Absolutely.
they don't know. Well, anyways, let's talk about your magazines.
Yes. So, I now do, and I'm the founder of what's called Elegant Expressions magazine. I was the former managing editor and founder of Art is Alive magazine. Now, my better half and I ran that together because I'm the creative mind and he's the tech mind. So he would always do the photography and the website and make everything look pretty and tell me basically that everything I did was kind of cool, which I really loved.
Awesome.
And so again, just like with everything else, once he passed, that was just, no, I don't want to write. I don't want to have this. I don't care. No one's going to read it, right? Because he's not here. No one's going to support it, So for a long time, I didn't want to do that. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the interview, what drives me and the tickle in the tummy is writing. So any true writer can't stay away for too long. You just can't. And so I thought to myself, the benefits of these are twofold. I run a magazine because I work with a lot of publicists. Publicists struggle for earned media all the time. Yep. Everything is pay to play more and more now. Everything is just so hard to get into, the top tiers especially.
Yep.
So why make it hard for them? So because I work with a bunch of them, I give them earned media. Their clients are happy, they're happy. And then on the flip side of the fence, as much as I hate to admit it, I don't like to hear no a lot. So if people won't interview with me and they won't give me certain leeway, let's say, I have the ability to search out people and interview whoever I want. And so,
yes.
I have a wide range of things that I cover in there and I enjoy them and people tell me they enjoy reading it.
That's awesome. Yes, I'm going to have to read that magazine.
Yes.
But anyways, you said earlier that you have your husband who passed away. He's a photographer.
Actor. He was an actor.
Yeah, but he does.
Oh yeah, he also did video work. He has done video work and he's also done photography work.
Yeah, for the magazine.
Yes, in the past.
In the past. So who is your photographer now? You have a photographer and other.
I have a dear friend. So my dear friend Kurt and I usually work together where he takes pictures. I have a volunteer or two that actually one of them is a photography major, so they do that. Obviously, everything comes past me, but I use it a lot for mentoring. And in fact, I'm about to take on an intern where I'm able to teach them the ins and the outs as far as publishing and what to do. And I know people think sometimes they're like, oh, it's all about the wage. But not necessarily. Sometimes in addition to a wage, it's important that they're learning. You have to pass on. I'm not going to be here forever. So someone should know how to run a magazine. What's good content? What's going to sell? What do people want to hear? So I'd like to think we're doing a good job. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. He made me look better. He made everyone else look better. So that is not something you replace. That's something you just do differently.
You talk a lot about teaching, coaching, mentoring. And you have your classes for screenwriting, right?
I do when there's a demand for them. So how teaching works is I'll throw out feelers every couple of months or every month and I'll say, hey, I'm going to do a workshop on this, or hey, I'm going to do this. I was just invited to go in classroom a month ago, like in the city of Wisconsin or state of Wisconsin. So it depends. Like I have to fit the time in and see, I'd prefer to teach a lot more often, but you got to balance the magazine. That's got to go out regularly. The festival takes up 6 months out of a year. Now I'm on public access TV once a week. and then radio now is once a week.
Wow.
It's a lot. So I'm trying.
Yes. How did you manage to come to Vegas with all your engagements?
I will say, and you know, a lot of people have been asking that same question, like, oh, is she going to travel, not going to travel? Because recently I said I was going to take the trip. Honestly, sometimes you need to decompress. Sometimes you have to get away from things that are at home.
Especially for boss ladies.
Oh, gosh.
You need that.
So I definitely, and I have loved ones here that I haven't seen for a long time. So it was important to me to get back here. I didn't know if I was going to be able to interview Ben if I'd keep waiting and waiting because of his age.
yes.
He's much older. So I think that's important. And just being able to say, I'm just going to get on the plane, and I know I'm going to go home, do a lot of work, but you need to do that sometimes. And then pleasant surprises come in.
Yes. Are you like me where they have to actually cut my fingers to get out from my editing?
I have to say that here's the problem. It's the disconnection. I will disconnect in a heartbeat if my kids want to do something or if they have a little increment of time where they're available because they're older now, so they don't have any time, you know. Or if a friend is in need, or if I need to cook for someone because that's my language of love. So, you know, to my close knits, anytime they come to me and they need something, I'll drop everything in a heartbeat. But make no mistake, it's always let me just check the phone now, I'm turning it off. You know, like you're always on all the time. I think that's a hard concept for people. Like, we may not be on the phone, but I'm thinking about this, or I know I need to do it. So that's
You're
where
constantly
balance.
working.
Yes. But at a certain point, like I'm going to be 55 next month, so I'm starting to realize that if I keep doing that, I'm not getting on a cruise, or I'm not going on vacation, or I'm not going to visit certain places, or spend time with people I love.
Yes.
So that has to become the priority.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I've been doing social media shows for almost 6 years, and for the first 4 years, never did anything except social. 24 hours. I breathe in and breathe out social media shows.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I understand. And now I had a chance to get out there. But anyways, so you are a mentor, and you're mentoring a lot of aspiring writers.
Okay.
What would you like to give them as advice to make it there?
I've always had the philosophy ever since I was young that the written word is like magic. You can create magic. You can heal someone's heart. You can bring them to a smile. You can bring them to a tear. You can move people with that. The ability to move someone or to make an impression upon them is probably the most important thing you can do with your words. So I always say to a writer who's first starting out, don't take no for an answer. Don't believe people that tell you that this will never, ever become a career for you. But most importantly, never think that your words are not important. So if you feel something, whether it's good or bad, you have to write them. If you write a book and you don't share it with anyone, I think that's the most tragic thing in the world. Because someone wants to read it. Someone wants to hear what you have to say. Mm-hmm. So my best advice to someone is always never stop using your words to do good or to influence or to entertain or to educate.
Inspires.
There you go.
You're getting my mission.
Yes.
This last question that I have for you, I have to read it.
Okay.
How do you approach the challenge of writing and producing content that resonates with both broad and niche audiences?
Okay, so that answer comes differently for each medium. So for instance, radio, because I've been doing it almost 11 years, I have a base audience. So I have a combination of males and females that are usually, 30 or 60. I'm working on the millennial audience and the more elderly, but that's always a challenge. So I already know what they like. And so typically when it comes to radio, we usually want to do musicians, filmmakers, actors, nonprofits, and small business. That's my radio audience. Now when we turn to things like magazine, I include all of those, but I also have health and fitness, spirits and hospitality. We've got like film and book review. I've now added in a section for health and family. We also have done in the past, interesting, PR and media is in there. I want to do things that are engaging to people in there and more lighthearted and fun. Mm-hmm. And so that's much more elongated. And I also include my video content there, like interviews from festivals and things like that. Now, public access television is very limited for me. More and more, I'm trying to get into investigative journalism because I've always been doing arts and entertainment. So it matters to me. The other week, we had shot a series about chiropractic care because I think a lot of people really have disbeliefs in terms of how effective it can be and the rumors about it and is it safe and smart. So I wanted to debunk that. So I interviewed my chiropractor. Today, of course, as a Holocaust survivor, everyone wants to be watching things like that, clearly.
Yes.
I also did a segment on wives and children of individuals who are incarcerated, because I think it's important for them. They need to see what the other side of the fence looks like, not just the prisoner, but how they are affected when they're on the outside. And then upcoming, I've been starting to look at topics that people need to know about. I think we need to know about financial planning. I need to talk to someone who's a financial planner or life insurance person who can talk to us about those things. A life coach, what do they do? So I'm basically taking the TV show to take it to a much broader subject matter and to get it to so many more people where they're educated, where they're like, I really like this and this is a great topic.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, do you have print media or internet media, like a magazine?
Okay, so for the magazine, it is both digital and hard copy. As far as public access, obviously that's strictly on there. And then I'm on Blog Talk Radio for the radio show, which is internet based.
Wow. And where they can find it?
Oh boy. So if you I was once told, if you just Google Cindy Mich, you're just going to see she's a celebrity, which is, I just laugh at that because I'm like, I'm such a regular person. You can see I'm a regular person. So if you do Google me, you're going to find Artists Alive Film Festival, Elegant Expressions Magazine. Sin's Chat Corner is both the radio show and the television show. And you know, that's kind of the thing. I mean, if you type in Cindy Mich journalist, there's a whole website that'll tell you everything you need to see, past interviews, how to watch me, how to find me, that sort of good stuff. And I always encourage people, like if you watch today, and let's say you want to reach me, drop me an email. I mean, you literally put my name in, you can send me an email. I mean, I don't know if you can call me or not. I mean, that's kind of random, but I'm like, send me a note, or like if you like what I had to say. I'm always open to criticism, even negative criticism, because you have to learn from that, of course.
Yes.
But I guess the point is I try to be open and available as much as I can.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, you gotta have to be available because you're a public figure. So what's the future for Cindy Mich?
Well, I think the future lies in, let's see, I'm soon going to have all my kids grown, and I'm not sure what that looks like. I'm kind of reevaluating to see what elements of my career I want to keep. Maybe I want to reshift some of them. Obviously, spending as much time as they'll give me, like 5 days a week, is not happening anymore. So that's number one priority. Number two is taking a look at how we can expand the film festival, possibly getting not only more sponsors, but more distributors and more offerings, just making it bigger and better and helping filmmakers more and more. I think on the magazine side, I'm a little worried. I mean, it's a lot of work. So I think Cindy's going to need to find help to try to keep doing this, because I wrote the last issue all myself. So it's a lot of content. So I need to start learning how to...
Where do you find time for yourself?
Well, you know, grief is an unwelcome visitor. So I think for a long time it's just been work has kind of replaced that, my family and my work. So now it's time to just take a look at everything. And I think things will be shifting a little bit. I'll be adding some things, maybe dropping some things for a little while. But all I know is the writing is always going to stay.
So radio, where they can hear you
Yes.
on the radio.
So if you just type in Cin's, CIN''S, Chat Corner, and Google it, I'm on all the major ones, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. So you can see that on there. Elegant Expressions Magazine, if you type that in, you should be able to find that.
Mhm.
And then, of course...
So just Google it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my name, Cindy, last name Mich. If you just Google the name, you can't miss me. I mean, apparently I'm in a few places. It's kind of weird, because I'm kind of over the whole, my picture's here and my this... I'm just a regular person. I just wanna get the word out there, especially about the festival. I think doing interviews for me is uncomfortable as it is. I can't get people to attend if they don't know what's happening. So I'm here to let people know that, hey, we're here, and please support if you can.
You're very humble. You're literally down to earth. And thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing your humbleness to the people out there who are in the same industry, because we talked about it earlier. The egoistical thing is, you know, just be humble all the time, people, because you don't know who you talk to, you don't know who you are running into. Being humble is actually, you have a better chance to be picked in a project. So thank you so much for viewing us tonight, and thank you so much for stopping by at my studio, and we will see you guys again next week.